guys, and welcome to CultureCast. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, who is an all-time best-selling Brazilian author born in Rio de Janeiro in 1947. He's currently listed as number 2 on the world's 200 most influential authors.
What's interesting is that Paulo first published this novel in 1988 through a small publishing company in Brazil, but it didn't move forward from there. It was only when Rocco published it in Brazil and HarperCollins published it internationally that the novel started to get really famous.
Most of what Coelho writes about is rooted in his life experiences. He had a pretty interesting life before he became a writer in the 1980s. He dropped out of law school, lived as a hippie, got into drugs for a while, and ended up writing song lyrics for pretty famous Brazilian artists. But all of this left him feeling empty inside still. So he went to Spain, he had an epiphany, and it was there in Spain that he got his inspiration to write 2 of his first novels, which were The Alchemist and The Pilgrimage. And after he wrote these books, or around that time, he ended up meeting his wife, who he's still with today.
And this guy has a really impressive resume, actually. So he currently has the Guinness World Record for the most translated book by a living author, which is The Alchemist, that was translated into 81 different languages. He's nominated for the Albert Einstein Foundation as one of the 100 most leading visionaries of our time. And most impressively, he has more Twitter followers than J.K. Rowling and Stephen King, which is a confirmed fact. We've checked. Look it up.
Yeah, so a bit about The Alchemist. The first publishing company that printed it only printed around 900 copies and actually decided against reprinting it.
Which is completely their loss.
Right. And The Alchemist is actually the second book Paulo ever wrote, following the spiritual awakening that he had in Brazil, or Spain. He's from
Brazilian.
Brazil.
Spiritual awakening happened in Spain.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. Yeah. A quick rundown of the plot is the novel is about a shepherd boy named Santiago who dreams about traveling the world, which is why he decided he'll be a shepherd with the sheep, go around the world. He ends up having a dream 2 nights in a row. It was the same dream, and he decided it must mean something important. So he decides he'll go to a gypsy to try to find out if she could translate the dream for him. And she ends up telling him exactly that the dream he's having is basically what will happen if he goes to the Egyptian pyramids, which were in his dream. So if he goes to the Egyptian pyramids, he thinks that he'll find a treasure, and so Santiago decides he'll set out on this journey towards the Egyptian pyramids, no matter how long it'll take him. He ends up meeting influential people along the way, learning so much about himself and about the universe, and he ends up actually finding out that the treasure wasn't exactly what he had expected.
And it wasn't exactly in the place that he had expected. So kind of one of the main messages in this book is fulfilling your personal legend. And your personal legend is essentially kind of like your purpose in life, why you're here. And Santiago's personal legend is to go to the pyramids in Egypt and find this treasure that he believes that's at the pyramids of Egypt. And then we meet a variety of other characters within this novel that have personal legends as well, such as the alchemist. His was to turn lead into gold. The merchant, the crystal merchant that Santiago befriends, his was to go to Mecca. And the novel really says that the only way you can live this fulfilled and whole life is to fulfill your personal legend and to go after your dream. And it goes as far as to kind of say that the men who don't follow their personal legends are living these half-filled, unsatisfied lives, and they kind of act as cautionary tales in a way.
And there's an awesome quote that goes with this, is that if someone isn't what others want them to be, the others become angry, and everyone seems to have a clear idea of how other people should live their lives, but none about his or her own. It goes back to the idea that you hear a lot about comfort being the enemy of progress. The only way for Santiago to grow was to remove himself from his comfort zone. And that's the first step that he takes towards achieving his personal legend. And this is a very important idea for Santiago to learn. Personal growth is always achieved by pushing your boundaries and reaching outside of your comfort zone.
And it's really true, like the only way you're ever going to make progress is if you go outside of where you're comfortable, like make these little baby steps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't just let little excuses keep you back.
Yeah.
All right, so another idea that's super important in the book as a whole is the idea that when you really want something, the universe will conspire with you. So during Santiago's adventure, he comes across, or basically learns about omens, and to him these omens are just mundane objects that he comes across in his daily life, and they kind of give him a perspective or judgment on how he should proceed with his journey. So these omens basically can just be any little thing that you find in your life that is influential. It could be the smallest thing that just changes your day, and that's how he basically found meaning in every single day of his life throughout that journey, and kind of realized that every day was important. No day was the same.
Yeah, and whether or not you believe in the universe and omens and spirituality, I think it goes to say that if you look for meaning in things, you can find it, and if you have this positive outlook on life, you will see things that will and if you believe that you're doing the right thing, you'll see things that reinforce the beliefs that you have.
Kind of like karma, but with beliefs.
This actually goes with another quote in the book that says, when we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too. So basically, good karma, optimism leads to a better life, and it's not even about how others look at your life. Somebody else could look at your life and think that it's not good enough for them, but to you, it's great because you're looking at the best things in it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you are happy, it changes your life and it changes your perspective and how you approach things, because it really does make a difference if you're happy in your life and if you're going after what you think is right. So, another notion that comes up a lot, another major theme in this novel is the soul of the world. And honestly, the soul of the world kind of acts more like a force that you have to connect with, and it communicates to you via omens, and it's responsible for your personal legend. So it's kind of like the driving force behind everything that happens in your life, and it's how the universe communicates to you. So the soul of the world is responsible for your personal legend, and this kind of connects with the one of my favorite movies, which is The Gladiator. And in that movie, the Spaniard, his mission in life, his personal legend, is to go after and get revenge, to go after the Caesar and get revenge for his mother and baby boy that were murdered by the Caesar. And that kind of parallels how Santiago has this purpose in life to go and find this treasure. So, we're all placed on earth to do maybe not one thing, but to do a variety of things. And once we accomplish that, cool, we have accomplished it, now it's time to set these bigger and better dreams, because now you know that you can accomplish it.
Yeah, you can kind of think of how when you're little you have dreams about what you're going to grow up to be, but what the book is trying to say is that the reason you have these dreams is because the universe is telling you to. The universe has it planned out for you.
And it wants you to chase those dreams and be the best person that you can be. And going off of what Marilla had said about you going out and making your personal legend come true, there's a really great part in the book where the king actually talks about fate and its negative consequences. It goes like this: what's the world's greatest lie? It's this, that at a certain point in our lives, we lose control of what's happening to us, and our lives become controlled by fate. That's the world's greatest lie. So we're talking about achieving your personal legend and how, according to the book, the world conspires with you in order for you to achieve it. But another point that the novel makes is that you have to go out and make your dreams come true. You can't just sit around and wait for it to be handed to you or have it fall in your lap. You have to go out and get work done and put in the hard effort that it takes to make those dreams come true.
Yeah, basically saying you're not just going to get lucky. Not everything that's... Basically, it's not whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. So even though we just said, you're put on earth to do something, that something's not going to fall in your lap. the entire point that you're placed here is to go through the journey of obtaining that. And it's time and time again proven that it's the journey that matters and not where you're going. Like, you could not even get to the place that you thought you were going to be. It's how you get there, and it's that journey, and it's that growth that you experience on that path that really, really does matter.
Yeah, so with all the talk about grabbing life by the horns and making your dreams come true, you're obviously going to have fears about going out and doing this. But the book stresses so much that you can't worry about the fear of failure. The fear of failure is basically what is going to keep you from going out and making these dreams come true. Obviously, we're all going to have fears. Things are going to come in our way that we want to use as excuses to stop us, but we can't let that get in the way, is basically what the book is trying to say, and kind of goes back to the crystal merchant who doesn't want to go to Mecca, which is his dream. He won't go to Mecca and live out this dream because he's afraid that after he achieves it, he will have nothing else to dream about.
Yeah, so I mean, like, you really do, like, the worst someone can ever say is no, and you want to say, like, that isn't a failure, and you shouldn't take it as one. You should take it as a learning experience, and not even a mistake, just like a learning experience. And now you will go on and make different learning experiences. You'll make different mistakes. But that's how you grow, and that's how you become a better person, is you go through these trials, these errors, but you come out stronger. So even if someone does say no, like, you're better off in the long run with having taken that rejection, like, face on, than having not tried and not had that rejection, not grown and not experienced that.
It's scary, but it's helpful.
Yeah.
So Coelho also makes the point, like, he has a very straight up quote that's follows: there's only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve, the fear of failure. So basically, you are the only person standing in your way. Mm-hmm. If you let excuses and other things come up and stop you from going after your dream, then that's it.
That's, like, the only way you're not going to achieve your dream.
Yeah, like, that's it. Like, you are the only thing standing in your way. And if you believe in your personal legend, if you believe that you were placed here on earth to do something, you're not going to let anything get in your way, and you're going to go for it because, you know, that's why you're here.
Yeah, and there's no one else there to stop you.
Yeah. So another beautiful quote in the book is, don't give in to your fears. If you do, you won't be able to listen to your heart. And, you know, you can't be afraid of rejection, and you can't be afraid that something is going to happen because, you know, the biggest part is the journey. And you have to listen to your heart, and that's...
Which is, like, the biggest takeaway from this book is that Santiago went on this journey towards the pyramids, and he gets there, he realizes that his treasure wasn't actually there, and that he has to go back to where he started his journey in the first place to find his treasure. But instead of taking this and being upset about it, he realizes that the whole journey was his growth.
And it was a learning experience.
If he hadn't had that journey, then he would have never learned all the things that he learned the whole way.
Yeah, and his journey took place in the harshest part. It took place in this desert that was, you know, the perfect medium for him to learn about himself. And, you know, like, maybe not all of our experiences will take place in a desert, but it will
be difficult and
it will be our own desert.
The desert was what tested him, and our personal legends are always going to test us, but we need to, you know, strive for it.
The desert's like a metaphor, like saying it's going to be hard and difficult sometimes, but you just got to suffer through it, and it's going to be worth it in the end.
Yeah,
you know?
as long as you realize during that journey that eventually it's going to pay off, then you're being positive and things are going to turn out your way.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll leave you with some food for thought since we're almost out of time. Here's a quote from the book: "Your heart is alive. Keep listening to what it has to say."